Hi everyone, I'm Elise Alexandra and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be cooking one of my absolute favourite recipes, polenta chips, from my cookbook Quick Fix in the Thermomix. These polenta chips are absolutely perfect when you're entertaining. Everyone loves them, children, adults. It's fantastic. They are gluten-free, which is fantastic for anyone avoiding gluten. They're also baked and not fried, which is so much easier, a lot less mess and healthier of course. So, first off, we need 3 sprigs of rosemary. You could also use thyme, but I think rosemary is the preferable herb for this. We're just going to put the leaves in the Thermomix bowl. We don't want the woody stalks. In we go. So, Thermomix lid on. And we're just going to chop this for 3 seconds on speed 8. Okay, so now we're going to add in our stock. I prefer chicken stock for this recipe, but for a vegetarian option, of course, use vegetable stock. You could also use fish or beef stock. We want 1 litre or 1 kilo. With stock, it's the same thing. So we're just going to activate the scales, pour in our stock. And then we're just going to heat it for 10 minutes, 100 degrees on speed 3, and this will bring the stock up to boiling point before we add in our polenta. So 10 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 3. Okay, so our stock's been heating for about 9 minutes now. It's got about a minute to go. We're just going to turn the Thermomix off and weigh our polenta. So just remove the MC. Be careful, that steam is hot. Place your bowl on top of your Thermomix and activate your scales. So I've got my polenta here. I just need 150 grams for this recipe. There we go. So putting the Thermomix back on speed 3, so it's whisking, we're just going to slowly add our polenta in a thin stream. So this smooth stream is going to ensure that the polenta has no lumps in it, which is what we want. It's ideal for polenta chips. Also, when choosing your polenta, don't choose instant polenta. It's been pre-cooked and it's not going to work for this recipe. Now, as you can hear, in the Thermomix, the polenta is thickening up, which is exactly what we want. So there's all that in. Just take a spatula and put in any little bits that missed. Perfect. Okay, so our polenta's been cooking for 10 minutes. What we're going to do now is cook it for a further 10 minutes, again on 80 degrees, but we're going to do it on speed soft rather than speed 3. Wonderful. So while that's cooking, we're going to take a baking dish. A shallow baking dish is fine, or a baking tray, whatever you've got, but probably around this size. Then I've got some olive oil and a pastry brush, and I'm just going to grease this to make sure the polenta doesn't stick when we pour it in. You could use macadamia oil or grapeseed oil as opposed to olive. Anything works really. Also, just make sure you do the sides to make sure the polenta doesn't stick. Wonderful. So we'll just wait for our polenta to cook for another 10 minutes and then we're going to pour it in. Okay, so now our polenta's finished cooking. Fantastic. We're just going to pour it into the baking dish that we prepared earlier. As you can see, it's thick, it's smooth. It's exactly what we want. Just pour it in evenly. And then take a spatula and just get out any excess that's in the bowl. We don't want to waste any. There we go. Beautiful. So just smooth the top. And it's ready to go into the fridge for an hour. You could leave it out on the bench to set, but it will take longer. So we'll put it in the fridge. I have actually prepared one earlier. Okay. So there is our polenta ready to go. You can see by looking at the sides that it's coming away, it's set, it's ready to be cut into chips. So I'm going to take my board, just place it over the top and flip it as you would a cake. There we go. Now, sometimes it doesn't come out when you're ready to lift it. That's because there's an airlock underneath. If that is the case, just slide your finger underneath, break the airlock and your polenta will come out perfectly. So now I've got a sheet of baking paper. Definitely use baking paper, do not use foil, it will stick. I've learnt that the hard way. Let's take a large knife and we're going to cut it into the fingers. So just use up and down strokes. I find if you drag it through the polenta, it sometimes breaks. So I'll just do a couple to show you now. Ooh. Here we go. This smells delicious. I cannot wait to eat these. So we'll just go this way. At this point, you could also cut them into squares and use them as a side dish with, stroganoff or ragu or something like that. It's a really, really delicious alternative to mashed potato or bread, which is, traditionally served with those hearty dishes. So we're just going to place our polenta on our baking sheet. Spread them out evenly. It doesn't really matter, but you don't really want them touching. They might stick when they're cooking. There we go. So I've just got some oil left over from before. I'm just going to brush this on the top, which will make them really crunchy. Wonderful. And then I've got some sea salt flakes. Just use as much or as little as you like, always to taste. You can always add some more once they're cooked as well. Okay, so what I've done is I've preheated the oven to 200 degrees fan forced. I've also preheated an oven tray. The reason I do that is you want to put the polenta on the hot tray and it will mean the bottom of the chips are crispy and perfect. So I'm just going to put these in the oven for 20 minutes, 200 degrees fan forced. These polenta chips have just come out of the oven and they smell delicious. They were baking for about 20 minutes, although depending on your oven, it may take a little bit longer. But what you're looking for is a polenta chip that's firm and golden, just like these ones. Now, I would serve these with the spicy dipping sauce from Quick Fix in the Thermomix, although you could serve them with a tomato relish, a tomato chutney, a mayonnaise, whatever takes your fancy. One of the reasons why this is my favourite recipe when entertaining is I make the polenta mixture the day before, cut the chips up, put them in the fridge and simply bake them when guests are here. It's really, really easy. These are absolutely delicious. They are sure to impress, so give them a go.